The road to chasing your dreams is not linear. There are going to be many twists, turns, detours, turbulence, potholes, honey. Gravel paths and winding roads, to say the least. There are going to be some things that come up that derail you, but don't let that discourage you from continuing to go after your dreams. Even if you get stalled and it feels like a major setback, it's okay. By no means is Boys to Men singing End of the Road right now. Let's chat through some ways to handle the hard and get back on track. Feel free to try variations of the steps I've shared today. It's not so much about following my path as it is about forging your own and finding what works right for you. My way isn't the only way, but hopefully this gave you some starting points to how you can find your way back to you when it's hard and get back on track with what matters to you most. Ready for me to be your personal mindset coach? Work with me one-on-one. Let's let go of what's holding you back and get the mindset you need so you can chase your dreams while doing all the things. You don't have to just dream about the life you love. You can actually live the life of your dreams. With my simple strategies, you can go from imagining to manifesting, from just trying to thriving. Let's rewrite your story now. Tap the link in the show notes and apply now. Your next level you is awaiting. Let's go on this journey together. In the midst of doing all the things, you can do all things and chase your dreams. Stay encouraged as we go on this journey called life, tackling everything that comes our way while we shine our light despite any circumstances we face. No more downplaying or dimming your light, because through the good, the bad, and everything in between, together we can encourage over everything. If derailed was a person, I'm pretty sure you'd find my picture right under Exhibit A. Hey, encourager. I know that Mars retrograde is in Gemini right now, but good heavens to Murgatroyd. I haven't hit a wall like this in a really long time. I wish I could give you a specific example of just one thing, but it's not just one thing. In fact, if it was just one thing, I'd be jumping for joy. Let's normalize the fact that it can be many, many things coming in hot all at the same time, and you just run into a wall. If you know that feeling, can I get an amen? So if you are in this weird twilight zone with me, or if you've been here before and have the t-shirt somewhere, let's navigate these waters together. What I'm sharing with you today is a little piece of my own recipe of what I had to do for myself, and I'm hoping it helps you just as much as it helped me. First, pause and be still. When things are swirling all around you, it's easy to try to maneuver within the chaos. I was trying to do the same thing and do it all when I noticed I was reacting just like the chaos I was in. When I realized how out of control I felt, I really just had to stop and say this affirmation. I am the calm I want to see and experience in my world. The energy I wanted to feel, generate, and summon was calm. I didn't want to be locked into the chaos and reacting like I had lost my mind, because trust me, it felt that way. I was the key, and you are the key in your world. You get to reclaim and reestablish the tone for how you want things to go in your world, but it starts with the frequency you emit. Take a pause for the cause, catch your breath, and find your center. Meditation is a great way to do that. If you don't meditate or it seems too hard to do, let me encourage you to release any preconceived notions or labels that you've tacked on and really truly give it a try. There are all kinds of meditation tools out there that are completely free. Insight Timer is my favorite app. It has a ton of free resources. Literally type in a word and there is something for you. I love guided meditations. Those are definitely amongst my favorites. But what I often need to really get to center is quiet. What I love is this app lets you create your own meditations as well. You can set a timer to begin and end with a chime or a sound. And in the midst of the sounds, the beginning and the end, you get to enjoy complete silence. Meditation is such a gift, and the peace you gain, it reminds you it's always available to you. I also remind myself nothing is happening to you right now. Even my thoughts can get out ahead of me, and I become stressed thinking about all the things I have to do. I've already mentally walked through the 50 steps when all I'm doing is sitting right here in this moment. No one is leaning over me telling me I have to do it right this second. And yet that's the pressure I'm allowing in that moment. Instead, I really have to just pause. I remind myself in this moment, I am safe. Nothing is happening and I'm okay. The power of the pause is magical. It puts you in the position to be the calm you want to experience in your world. And this right here might be the single most important thing you hear me say. Ask for help. The only reason you feel isolated is because you've isolated yourself. In the amazing world of technology we live in, we are literally surrounded by resources to help. Whether you ask Siri or phone a friend, help be right at your fingertips, and yet you'd rather sit and feel like no one understands you or knows what you're going through. But that's only because you haven't reached out or tapped into the resources available. You can ask for help in so many ways. Thank the heavens for podcasts. You can search a topic and find a lot of great shows with the support you need. I mean, look at you right now. Listening to this episode and getting the goods. I'm here for you, babe. We got this. If you feel alone, it's a sign to reconnect. You've got family, friends, coworkers, old classmates even. The list goes on. You know someone that is willing to listen and connect with you. Yet, if the feeling persists of feeling like you are all by your lonesome, it's really a sign to open up to the people already in your life. What I've noticed is you could have hundreds of Facebook friends and yet very few real connections. It's often because you may not feel safe to really open up. It's the vulnerability that we crave, that we actually have to participate in. Yes, you run the risk of being judged or even worse. We all have fears like that in relationships. Afraid to open up and show your real self for fear of being hurt or your vulnerability being used against you in some way later on down the road. Yes, while all of that is an option, so is someone seeing the real you and connecting with you on a much deeper level, someone understanding you better and actually loving you even more because they get to see your true character up close and personal. These are the things that create the connection and relationships we crave that are more possible than you can imagine. But your fear of the worst stands in the way of it actually happening. You are worthy of self-care every day, not just on a Sunday. As you do all the things and chase your dreams, self-care has to be a major part of your day-to-day life. Giving yourself what you need is the key to being able to give everybody else what they need. If you're having a hard time making sure your self-care is on your list, Get all the deets in the Encourager's Insider Guide to Self-Care. These free, easy DIY tips for simple ways to make self-care a part of your daily routine, plus some bonus goodies. Get your free Encourager's Guide to Self-Care because you deserve to be a priority on your list. Grab it right on the blog or the show.encourageovereverything.com/self-care freebie. No more being last on your list. Grab it today and give yourself the gift of self-care. Asking for help is a very vulnerable act. No one wants to be rejected or thought of as less than because they need help. However, we fail to see the opposite is also true. People love being able to show up for the people they care and love tremendously. I see it as a give and take in the relationship. There will be those times when you're giving the help and other times you're receiving the help. And as we go back and forth in this way, being there and supporting one another, we build those deeper connections that we crave. Just as the fears of asking for help going wrong are available, so are the beautiful ways it can go right. It is not a sign of weakness to ask for help. In my humble opinion, it's incredibly smart and a sign of strength to know yourself well enough to know you have hit your enough point. You have exhausted all your resources and you don't want to try to eat the elephant alone. Asking for help is a solution, not a reason to stay stuck. So whose help do you need? Who do you need to ask for some support? What is one or two things that someone could take off your plate to lighten the load? What is something you could pay to have someone do for you altogether? What would make your life easier right now if you had an extra pair of hands handling this for you on your behalf? You don't have to ask someone to completely solve your problem. The solution or help you need is not always a full-time job. Sometimes it's just a few steps that can create a lot of relief for you. So stop seeing asking for help as a sign of weakness when really it's a sign of wisdom. And last up, it's time to regroup. Do you need an afternoon just to regroup? If that's not enough, a weekend or a few days. Give yourself some space to regroup. It can be overwhelming when it feels like the world is coming at you all at once and you barely have a moment to even process what's going on. What does it look like for you to regroup? Depending on the situation or the scale of things, this may look very different at times. For me, it can look like some quiet time just to write out my goals, what's important to me right now, and what can wait. When we lose sight of our goals, the direction we want to go in becomes fuzzy. As you recenter on what your goals are, it makes it easier to define what's important to you right now to support those goals and what can wait. If the things going on don't support your goals, it can wait. Now, what does waiting actually look like? Does it mean at the end of the month you can revisit it? Or is there a time frame you can put on it to actually come back and revisit? Is this something someone else can handle for you? See where I'm going here? Often you need to regroup because everyone else's agenda and their list of demands somehow become more important than your own. It's okay. That happens, especially when it's in your DNA to want to be there for everybody and be great for everyone. Life will throw things at you, sometimes all at once, and you get derailed. That's a part of the journey. It's an opportunity to get connected back to yourself again and back on the path that makes you feel good every day. To regroup may look like getting with your family, your team, or support peeps and get back on the same page again. Define the purpose of why you're meeting and work towards those goals. It may look like putting your phone in airplane mode so you can just have some peace long enough to get back in neutral. Feel free to try variations of these steps that I've shared today. It's not so much about following my path as it is about forging your own and finding what works right for you. My way certainly isn't the only way, but hopefully this gave you some starting points to how you can find your way back to you when it's hard and get back on track with what matters most to you. Let go of the idea or belief of thinking the worst will happen if you ask for help. More than likely, you have a lot of support around you that you can tap into. And if you don't, it's time to lean in, be vulnerable to create those connections. Remember, it's not a weakness to ask for help, it's wisdom. I really hope this message served you today. The great news is, if you're going through it right now in this moment, it is temporary and you will reap many rewards from this season. I love you so much. You are not alone. I am here, and so are those within your reach. Tap in, connect, and get back on track because together we can encourage over everything. Encourager, thank you so much for tuning in. You are literally inside my dream come true. If you enjoyed this episode, here's some ways you can say thank you. Share it with a few friends. You are a true encourager, and spreading encouraging messages to lift each other up, that's what we do. Leave a review, light me up with some stars, and share your feedback because this is how we get more encouragement out there. To keep the conversation going or to connect with other fellow encouragers, head on over to the EOE After Party. Hey! It's a free space where we can connect and support one another as we chase our dreams while doing all the things. Check out today's show notes for today's sponsors or how to become an elite encourager, along with all the ways to stay connected. Or meet me on Instagram at Encourage Over Everything. Your support is such a gift. From my heart to yours, thank you, my friend. Until next time, I'm sending you love, light, and loads of positivity because together we can encourage over everything.